Okay. Variety is better. Variety is always better. So change it up each week. Make sure it's educational, historical. You want high energy activity, physically engaging, mentally engaging. And if you include a lunch on Friday, build that into your schedule. And we'll teach you how to do that down the road. All right. The other thing we want to do is we want to make sure that you're keeping records of everything. Please. We have had times in our own academy, we get to our reservation, we get to our field trip location, and the price that we agreed upon is not, they're telling us a different price. We may have agreed upon 6, they're now coming in at 10. And if we don't have our reservation sheet with us, then it's a battle. If we have the reservation sheet, the person who made the reservation with us may not be the person that is checking you in. So we want to make sure that you have all that stuff with you. So keep a field trip folder, print all the reservation requests, print all the confirmations, the emails, everything, every conversation, bring it with you, and keep all that stuff in a field trip folder. Bring confirmation and deposit receipts. And the reason why the deposit receipts are so important is that when you go into the camp or go to the field trip, or they're coming to you either way, if you have all that information, they're not trying to overcharge you, or they're saying, we never received a deposit. Well, I have the receipt right here. Here's the credit card charge or the receipt from you. There's confirmation email. Oh, well, we didn't realize that. We didn't get that information. So they'll take that $50 or $100 off of the price, and you're not having to pay that again and then fighting to get it returned. Now, this is super important, is one, make weekly roll sheets for who's in camp that week. I would highly recommend that you sell the weeks of camp each week independently. One, it allows kids to come in and out of the camp that want to try the camp out. They don't want to sign up for a month. Maybe they want to sign up for a week to give it a shot, and they may sign up for other weeks beyond that point. But if you say you have to sign up for the whole summer or nothing, you're going to immediately push away people that may have wanted to give your camp a try. And they may not have realized whatever your skill set is. They're like, man, I didn't realize how fun martial arts or dance or cheer, gymnastics, whatever it is, would have been fun. They never even get that opportunity because of you putting those restraints on them. And you're going to have some of your own campers that are going to take vacation. They're going to be off a week or two. They're going to try different camps. So do it on a weekly basis. But set up that weekly roll call roster so that when they come in on Monday, everybody knows. Parents must sign in and they must sign out. I'm going to give you a demonstration. I'm going to give you an example of one here in a second. The reason why that's so important, for 2 reasons why. One, if you've got custody issues going on and a parent saying that they had to pay for a summer camp, the child never showed up, you have it signed there. But more importantly, if a parent ever comes and wants to do a chargeback on their credit card, and they're telling, well, my child never went to that camp, you have signatures. You've got them checking in. You've got them checking out. You have their signature on the tuition agreement. You've got the roll call. I mean, not the roll call, but the parent handbook is signed. You've got all these things where they've agreed upon what they're doing, and you have proof. If you have lockers, put a locker assignment on there. If there's any notes for the parents, put that on there. If you have swimming that you do and you're keeping track of the kids' swimming ability, you can put that on there. We typically do our roll calls at 9 a.m. I'd highly recommend pick a time, and that's when we're doing our roll call. Let me remove this off of here so you can. Always do that all the time. Make sure you have that with you. Even if you're not going out on a field trip and you're bringing activities to you, make sure and have all that stuff, because who is ever delivering? Let's say you did a bounce house for the day. Typically, the person that did the reservation or the owner is not the person coming to set up the bounce house. All right, so this is what a sign-in sheet would look like. You could have the camp name if you have different camps, or just whatever it is, the day and the week of the camp. So we always put like Monday, June, whatever, in the week of. So that way we know what week of camp it is. So if whoever does your billing, if they're going back and doing just follow up to make sure everybody paid. They can go right to that camp. They know the person was in camp that week. Or on the chargeback, same thing. You're not having to go back and look through. You can get it right dialed down to the day and the week that you want to be on. So if you notice, the left-hand column is the camper's name. There are 5 columns to the right. I think this one actually is, it has 5 columns. What the columns allow you to do is do roll calls. You should be doing a roll call before you leave for your field trip. Do a roll call when the kids get there. Doing another roll call before the kids leave for the field trip. We do a roll call when we get to our destination. We do a roll call when we're lining back up to come back. We do another roll call when the kids actually get back to the academy. And we're doing head counts at the same time as we're doing roll call. And there's different people doing roll call from different people doing head counts. And those numbers always have to match up. That way we never, ever leave a child behind. Field trip checklist. So these are things that you want to make sure you have with you when you go to your field trip or when they're coming into you. Reservation information, deposit receipts, a tax exempt form. Now, one thing I talked to you guys about was setting up a nonprofit. You may not be able to do that year one, but I would highly recommend you set one up, because then if the camps are tax exempt camps, you don't have to pay taxes on all those things you're doing. And if you've not built that tax cost into your camp cost, it's going to come out of your profit side. So you want to make sure that if you are a for-profit camp, calculate what it'd be up, add the tax stuff in, and add that into your cost for the camp. Make sure you have your transportation and roll call sheets. Make sure you have your payment method, first aid kit, medications, sunscreen, hand sanitizer, and make sure one person's in charge of the checklist items, and then a separate person is in charge of any medications that you have to administer and your first aid bag. Your first aid bag should also have in there, I'll give you a list of what needs to be in there in just a minute. We'll do it right now. Let me remove myself off of here so you can see that. Okay. All right. So on here, we got first aid, Band-Aids, gauze, pads, medical tape, scissors, tweezers, antibiotic creams, bottles of water, gloves, cleanser, hand sanitizer, alcohol wipes, CPR barriers, Ziploc bags. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in here. See if I can move myself or get it up over here. There we go. Let's do it that way. So ice packs, tourniquet, clotting agent, the whole 9 yards. And make sure and put all this stuff, put it together. Now, none of us anticipate any kind of injuries, but we want to make sure that we're there. And do not let children without speaking with the parents. The story they will get was generally greater than what actually occurred. And we want to make sure we mitigate that. So transportation, purchase, rent, or charter, that is the question. All right. So if you are going to, if you don't have vehicles, if you want to do field trips, you got 3 options. You can purchase, rent, or charter. And that's the question, right? So if you're purchasing the vehicles, then what you want to look at are, and we'll show you how to do that.